Hello, my rats. Welcome to Ratitude Check. Are you ready for a Ratitude Check? Because I am. Today it's a solo episode. I know you've been spoiled with guests, which I do think are like really awesome episodes. And then when I do an episode, it ends up being like a heart to heart. But I actually thought it was a good time for like a little heart to heart. Rosie wants me to play with her, by the way. So if you hear like a little weird bony thing like clanking around, I cannot refuse her. Podcast or not, I'm a single mother. No, I'm kidding. I have Zach, but But yeah, I wanted to do a little heart to heart, not heart to heart, but like I'm going to add a little TW at the front of this. I want to talk about food because I have an episode. I don't know if you guys follow me on TikTok. Likely, like how else would you find me? But I've got a series right now where I've got 3 months before I turn 30 and 30 things I want to fix. And the next one that's coming out starts to get into like my relationship with food, which I know I've talked to you guys about before. I just thought maybe we would talk a little bit about that again, as I think it's important to, but again, if those kind of discussions don't work for you, then you skip on out of this one and you be your own best friend. Definitely not going to talk about that the whole episode though. Wanted to start with the Jonas Brothers concert. That was so cool. So Dexcom sent me there the medical CGM that I wear on my arm. Oh, Rosie's cuddling up. So the CGM that I wear on my arm is a Dexcom G6. I'm obsessed with it. I could not be without it. It would stress me. It does stress me out, like if I'm without it. Even if I go on vacation and I like one falls off accidentally and I'm down to only having like one backup, it like actually stresses me out. So I love my Dexcom. What can I say? You guys already know that. I literally wear it 24/7 and have for almost the past 4 years. But they sent me to the Jonas Brothers with my sister, which was so cool. It was so cool seeing them. They are very talented. Like I guess I wasn't expecting that. Like I don't know what I was expecting, but like my understanding of the Jonas Brothers was like camp rock, and like teen pop stars. So like these are grown men now. So I had no idea what their concert was going to be like. And the voices were on point. Like the vocal talent is impressive. What did surprise me though, and I did say this in the rat chats, was like they don't like have fun with each other on stage. And like I am not a concert expert and I am not a rumor starter. So this is all allegedly from my perception under my little T1D cowboy hat. But I was like, it'd be cool if they like had chemistry out there. But like sometimes there's off nights, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. Again, I'm not there. I've actually heard that it was an amazing concert, by the way. Like it was amazing. I just like if I was up there with my sister, I feel like I'd be sillier. But also they're professionals. Also they're grown men. Also they've been doing this for a long time. Another thing that shocked me, Kevin didn't say a word, which I was like, I know Kevin likes to just do his thing on his instrument, for sure. But I did think he'd be like, "Hi, Calgary." I did think he'd speak to us. But he did not, which I thought, that's interesting. No, it was so fun. Again, I was so blown away. Joe's voice is very beautiful. Nick is also like a very impressive singer. Falsetto is like less my vibe, but they're very talented. They are very talented. And Nick is my T1D king. And I want to know where that Dexcom is. Like, who's checking his numbers for him while he's on stage? I want to know all of these things. I find it so fascinating. I find it so impressive because like I was going low just dancing at the concert. Imagine performing. So it was really, honestly, so cool to see a T1D rock out to Arrow. What is it? Rock the stage at Arrowhead. And I got to see my brother, which was like so special. And I got to go with my sister. So I feel very blessed. It was a very cool trip. And I actually grew up in Calgary, which is just, it's always cool going back. I don't know that I count myself like a Calgarian because I was very young and we left when I was like 6. But it definitely, in my mind, like that's my birthplace. And I don't know, I feel like you'll always feel connected to like the place you were born. And I also feel very proud in my like Newfoundlander roots. But I couldn't call myself a Newfoundlander. But I will say, and this is no offense to the Ontarians, I do not call myself an Ontarian. I don't want to. It's no offense. But Ontario, lovely. I'm married an Ontarian. My sister married an Ontarian. I've lived in Ontario for so long. Good things do grow in Ontario, okay? When I go to like the coasts, I'm like, this is kind of more my vibe, Canada, than the middle of Canada, if that makes sense to you guys. But okay, I'm almost 30, guys. I'm almost 30. We've talked about a lot of stuff together. We've talked about how I wasted a lot of my 20s hating my skin. Huge regrets there. And yet, something I think I'm realizing at this age right now and where I am right now, like I really don't want to carry the acne into my 30s. I want this shit over and done with. I'm exhausted. You know, it's been 13 years of worrying about my skin. Some of those years much harder than others. And I'm over it. I'm over it. So I really am just working on that. Tretinoin is super cool. I've been using like a lot of products with like salicylic acid and then working on like skin barrier and working on sunscreen. Okay. Those are the things. Those are the things I'm doing right now for myself. But I think in the fall, I'm going to go get another kind of like acne scar treatment and just see if I can like really help my skin tell less of this journey. Now, I know it's beautiful when skin tells a journey. It is. And we can all say that out loud. And then there's the undercurrent of living that existence, right? And some people handle that better than others. This beauty standard is still so hard, so heavy. I do my best with it. But I think, honestly, like 13 years of this chapter is just like, quite frankly, enough for me. And my skin's come a long way. It's really exciting. But again, I just don't have space for the complete toxic positivity because it's just not the world we live in. Like, this world likes perfection. I don't think that's right. I think it sucks. I think the beauty standard's so heavy. But the gift I really do want to give myself at 30 is clear skin. And I think it made me really understand why some people go and get like a nose job or, like some sort of like really like altering surgery. And it's not that I didn't understand them before. It's just my mindset right now helps me understand how someone's mindset could really be like, nope, I need this to end. I've worked on it. I've done the self-work. Like, I've done everything in the book towards acceptance. And I think at the end of the day, it's okay if you just can't get to 100% acceptance. And I think it's okay to do little things to just get, we're on a floating rock. Life's short. It's all these, again, it's such a beautiful, complicated balance. And I think I'm really glad to represent that on the internet because I don't know that anyone's representing that. Like, there's a lot of really amazing voices in 100% positivity. And there's a lot of really amazing voices for change your looks, live your life. Who's riding the middle? Because as a normal, average girly rat, I'm in the middle, man. And I'm fighting because I'm like, no, I don't want to make big changes to myself. Yes, it makes me sad to think that people could like hate something that generations have had and is like almost like this kind of like beautiful genetic generational legacy. But at the end of the day, knowing what it's like to have a really hard battle with skin and then having like the acne still or having the scars and knowing I could just go pay a lot of money, but I could just go and get like microneedling and really improve this. It's just tempting, no matter how you want to slice it. You really have to sit there and go, could I stay this way and still have a great life? Yes, I definitely could. And that's the self-work I've done. Because before, if you had asked me 5 years ago, no, she would have said no, for sure. No, I've done the freaking self-work. I can sit here and say, yeah, if I couldn't, like if microneedling didn't exist and I couldn't go fix this, I would be fine. And the trajectory of my life probably wouldn't change. But I'm going to say probably, not for sure wouldn't change. Because I think it is unrealistic to pretend like confidence can't change the trajectory of our life. And if I can't get to 100% confidence, what little choices will I make in my day-to-day that affect the trajectory? When you are confident, you are powerful. I love confident people. I think they're so cool. I think I am one in many ways. When it comes to my skin, I'm definitely not 100%. I think it's really hard to navigate the modern world we exist in because like the changes are there. They're very accessible if you have the wallet deep enough. And even if you didn't, you could save for 5 years and that option is there. So knowing that, but then also knowing the wonderful narratives of like embracing who you are is like, at the end of the day, we all know embracing who you are is the best. I don't know if anyone can necessarily argue that. I think just when you argue that and you're like, no, 100%, being completely yourself and embracing everything you have is 100% the best option, kind of like excludes that weight from the beauty standard. And I just don't think that's fair, because I think you could be the most confident person in the world, but you're not blind. You're not unaware of the, it's so funny I said blind, because as a disability advocate, I'm like, Taylor, Jesus Christ, stop using words like that. But you know what I'm saying. You're not unaware of your surroundings and the expectations of society, and that pressure's there. I think we need to talk about what I'm talking about more, like being in the middle, or being like 70% towards acceptance, or 89, 99. I'm probably in the 90 category, but I'm not 100, because I've battled this acne and the pressure never left, even though the self-work was done. Now I could do more, but like, I don't know what else people want from me. Here's how do I explain this? I hope it's making sense, because I think we're all dealing with this in our own ways for our own things. It's like, well, I could just, and it's haunting. And society's like, yeah, you should just. And that's not right. But it doesn't mean the question doesn't like hang there, of like, would my life be better? Would it change drastically? No, because you are who you are. Fixing my skin, like even if I had perfect skin, it's not going to make me any more talented. It's not going to make me any more funny. It's not going to make me any more lovable, trustworthy, loyal, respectful, smart. Nothing that genuinely on paper matters. But there is that small piece of me, and this might be my industry talking as well, like I am in the acting industry, the online space, where I'm like, would it make my job easier though? And I think other people could sub in, like, would it make dating easier? Now, do I believe someone could fall in love with you no matter what? Yes. And I don't think people are saying that. Like, I wouldn't want anyone to think that. And I think it's really sad I'm sure there are people that think that, like, if I was thinner, if my skin was perfect, if my hair was more luscious, whatever, like someone would love me. And it's just not true, because what someone falls in love with is the inside. And yes, attraction matters, but don't worry, there's someone out there for you. I wholeheartedly believe that. But what I do believe is, if you are being hung up by something and it's making it actually hard to just leave the house or go on that date to even start the journey, I think we have to respect that. And I think that's how it is a little bit for my career, because it's like, if I had perfect skin, would I walk into an audition that much more confident, that much more bookable? It's a good question. And again, I'm like, I have done the work, because you guys know I'm more on the acceptance side. I really am. I just think it's so beautiful. I've said this in my videos. Like, I want to age naturally for the other generations, because I think there's going to be a lot of people doing the change thing. I've got no judgment on that. But I'm like, hey, probably going to need more people in this acceptance camp. And I think like that's where I should be. And that's just a choice I've made, because I'm like, I look at shows. Like when I watch Bridgerton, for example, like I think the mother, I forget her name, but Mrs. Bridgerton, like she's so stunning. And that is someone who's just aging naturally. I look at my own mother and I'm like, she is so stunning. Do I want her to look like, Sandra Bullock? Not really. I want her to look like my mom. I love my mom. My mom is beautiful. Aging naturally is beautiful. Like, I don't think we need to, like, I think you can. I'm in the middle on that. I'm not judging either side. It's just where my brain goes. I'm like, I love the natural beauty. I love God, I watched The Idea of You the other day, and like Anne Hathaway looks so freaking good. I was like, this isn't even believable that she's 40. I'm sorry. Like, she looks so good, and like that's awesome too. Do you know what I'm trying to say though? Like Kate Winslet, she has not done a thing to her face. I would rather see her in a movie because her face expresses things. It tells a story. She looks like a real human. And that just allows her to play more roles. And I enjoy and I respect the journey she's gone on to just fight against the beauty standard. And so I think there's more need of people fighting against it, because I'm noticing that there's a lot of people honestly just working with it. And again, I'll never judge that, because it's a heavy standard and you don't have to fight. Like we've all been put on this earth. Nobody said, hey, you're bad for not fighting this thing that's really hard to fucking fight. No, I will never judge. I will never judge. Never. But can I do the math and think, I think I'm more needed in the fight the beauty standard zone? Yes. Because I think maybe just I don't know what it was, but like with my acne journey, it really like altered my path. It really changed who I am as a person, like experiencing life, like hating, viscerally hating, touching my face and crying, wanting to scream, having panic attacks in my car, Look, that'll change you. And that'll make you never want another human to ever feel what you felt. But that doesn't negate the fact that it's a fight. And so sometimes I'm like, I almost think of it like a gift. Like giving myself clear skin would feel like a gift. It just would, because it's been a really long, dark journey full of anxiety, depression, self-hatred. Would I like to leave that chapter? Yeah, I freaking would. You know? And, I don't know if you would count. I would kind of count like getting microneedling. Like it's not plastic surgery, but it's certainly not like quote unquote natural. You know what I mean? Like it is, because it's just stimulating the collagen, whatever, and the cells turn over on their own. It's like pretty low key on the scale of like getting things done. But I have decided that's just a gift I want to give myself. And I think that's okay. But again, I think that's why these conversations are important, because I think it's good to know when you've, I don't want to say lost the fight, because I haven't. Again, I could continue like this. And the tret and the like, but who's to say that's not losing the fight? Like if I truly won the fight, I would have never hated the acne, and I would have never tried to change it. But of course I tried to change the acne. Society is so hard on acne and flaws. Of course I tried to change it. So I guess there I lost the fight. You know what I mean? It's just something where whereas when it came to more things I could fight, like I think that's the beauty of it. Like what can you fight? Because when it came to my lips and my nose, and when it came to my lips and my nose, and I will say my body to a degree, I was able to, nope, Taylor, you don't need to cave on this one. You can just have kind of small lips you're not a huge fan of. But hey, they're natural and they're fine, and they work and they smile and they kiss Rosie's little goose head, and they can eat nice food. Like there's nothing fucking wrong with them. You don't need to change them. Same thing with my nose. I used to hate my nose when I was younger. But I'm currently so glad I never got a nose job, because I really love my nose now. I know it sounds like a lie, because like if I turn to the side, I have my glasses on right now, but like if I turn to, there's a bump in my nose, and it's a larger nose. It's not the largest, but in a world in which we fixate on small, cute button noses, I certainly don't have one of those. Okay. But because I didn't, lose that fight, I now actually won that one like wholeheartedly, because I really like my nose. I like that it's big. I like that it's different. I like how my face works with it. Like, it's fine, The lips, I'm winning that fight. I almost lost it before my wedding, I'm not going to lie. Because as I've said, like, the wedding brings up all layers of shit. Holy God. The beauty standard has never been more pressureful than before your wedding. But I almost went and got lip filler, and I'm very, very glad I didn't, because I would have been doing it for the wrong reason. So I think like whenever you choose or look at these things, you just really have to go to that deep, honest place in your soul and decide, is this a gift I'm going to give myself, or is this a caving situation? And maybe that's a nice way to look at it, because gifts are very nice, and I think you deserve gifts, but I also think it's good to know when we actually can be strong enough to embrace ourselves. It's not easy, guys. I don't have the answers. It's not easy. Do I want to tell every woman on this earth that she's so beautiful? Yes, I do. Every human. Yes, I do. Do I wish it wasn't the reality that we can change ourselves so easily? Yeah, I really do, because again, like it's just too easy to feel that pull. But on the other hand, do I really love that someone can give themselves the gift of escaping a toxic narrative that lives in their head? I do like that. I'm really glad tretinoin exists. It's been doing amazing things for my skin. It's making me feel a lot better about myself. And when I feel better about myself, my life gets easier. It's just a fact. It doesn't, again, change who you are, change the ability you have, anything important about you. It doesn't. Your external skin sac does not. But we'd be delusional and disrespectful, quite frankly, to reality to say it doesn't have at least like a 0 to 10% influence on us. And that 10% could mean a lot, It could make a good change. It could make a big impact. But I also think that getting these things done can also make negative impacts when the thing isn't done from the right place. Like if you're doing it for someone or because of something that actually just doesn't align with you, you just caved again to that pressure and it wasn't a gift. You didn't do the self-work. You didn't explore it fully. I think that's when it ends really well. Like, like I said, with the acne, it's like I've done the self-work. I've never caved and gone on Accutane, which, by the way, like I don't think that's a problem, by the way. For me, with all my medical stuff, it would have been like a riskier decision as told to me by my doctors. So it's like, it's not that I couldn't have, it's just that it could have been harmful to me just because of certain little things. Again, always talk to your doctor about these things. So I never went on it. And because of that, I really was able to embrace as much as I could my skin journey, right? But it was harder. It was a much harder path. And in some ways, I think that if the first time it had been offered to me when I was 18, if I had just taken it, I don't know what my life would be right now. I think it would have saved me from a lot of heartache and hardships. So who's to say that's wrong? You know what I mean? But because I'm here and you can't look backwards, I got to work on myself and feel really deep feelings about the beauty standard and about myself and about my skin sac. And then diabetes came in and shifted that, which I did talk about, and gave me this like blessing and this life hack of like, wow, your body really doesn't matter that much. So it was like a life hack. But you see how complicated this is alone when I talk about it out loud? Like it's like every human's going through this. So whatever you're going through, like don't feel alone, even if it might be specific to you. A lot of people are struggling with this same dilemma because you could go get something done. If I could be a big fit sister for a second, I just want to make sure you do the homework. In many senses, do the self-work homework, like take your time, don't rush, and then also do the actual research homework. Do your homework, and make decisions for you, and fuck what anybody says. If it's a gift, it's a gift. Okay. And if you've caved and it didn't work out, that's okay too. That's a part of your journey now. That's a part of your narrative. You're not alone in that either. Sometimes we do these things and it works out really well. Sometimes we do these things and it doesn't because we didn't do it for the right reasons. Like if I had got lip filler, I definitely would have regretted it. I think I would have regretted it for sure. So I'm glad I, managed to dig myself out of that beauty standard hole that I spiraled down. But at the same time, the people who give that to themselves as a gift, I love that for you. Like I said, like I would love beautiful lips. I would love it. Mine are fine. They're okay. But I would love it. I totally understand why people go get that done. But I'm almost 30, and I think that's a really beautiful way to look at new chapters. Like, what gifts can I give myself for this new chapter to help it be even better than the last with all the lessons that we're constantly learning, I guess I'll talk about the food thing really quickly. So I was like, one of my things on the board is eating enough protein. So you guys know, but I'm celiac and I have diabetes type 1, and that makes food hard. It just does, as one would expect, right? And then when I add my acne anxiety into the mix, it gets a little more complicated, but I've really done a lot of really good self-work, healthy work on that, thank God. But as I said before, like I used to have a very struggled relationship with food when I was at the peak of my acne journey, and food made me cry and have panic attacks. It was getting like really bad, and I was super restrictive, and again would have panic attacks if I ate like sugar or like milk or candy or ice cream. It would just make me hate myself for like 3 days, and I literally would go like stare in the mirror and be super obsessive. So I became very obsessive about what I ate, and it was a really dark path. And people don't talk about that enough with acne. And then also, fun fact, diabetes. It's called diarexia and diabulimia. I might be getting those words wrong, but there's a lot of eating disorders in the type 1 community as well. All that to say, trying to figure out how to get enough protein in my diet can be complicated, or trying to make sure my meals are well balanced and rounded can sometimes be complicated, and I make them more complicated for myself when I think about health shit. For example, like protein. Because of my autoimmune disease, I don't like eating a lot of meat, because I read a book where being like close to vegan or just strictly vegan, is better for autoimmune diseases. whatever. There's a lot of theories out there, but that's one of the books I read and I was like, oh, I like that. And so I try to avoid a lot of meat. And then it's like, okay, you're not getting enough protein, girl. And then it's like, okay, get a protein powder. Then the acne anxiety comes in. And I'm like convinced. Well, not convinced anymore, but I was once protein powder used to be one of my like, I don't want to say triggers, but like one of my no foods on the list of like candy, dairy. Protein powder really scared me about giving me acne. So I've just never been someone who really likes protein powder. I'm very picky about them. And so I didn't know how to add this back into my diet. And I found hemp hearts, like organic hemp hearts. And you just do like 3 scoops on yogurt. So it's 10 grams of protein per like 3 tablespoons, something like that. So I'm doing that. I'm sorry if this is so boring, guys. But I'm just like beauty standard trauma dumping on you. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about all this because it's so hard to exist. The beauty standard makes it so hard to exist. And I'm here for you. I'm here with you. No one is navigating this perfectly. I'm telling you. No one is navigating this perfectly. Some are stronger than others. Some are working harder at it than others, right? Like to fight it. All valid. Everything you're feeling is valid. That's all I'm saying. It's just like when I explain my complex little brain dumps, I'm hoping it makes you feel better about the weird, complex little brain dumps you're doing, because I think we're all doing this kind of beauty standard math in our head at all times, and it's really hard. It just is. Especially when it comes to food. That is so risky, so dangerous, and I think a lot of people right now are worried that the heroin chic aesthetic from the 90s is coming back in, which is like extreme thinness. That is really scary. That is really scary because I grew up through that. You know, I'm almost 30, so I saw a good amount of the effects of that. Like, I remember watching shows where everyone is just so thin. And it's hard. But I just care so much. That's the thing. Like, I care so much that you guys navigate it better than I did. Like, I just want every generation doing a better job. And I think that is what's happening because there are enough voices, like, talking about all these great things. And I hope to be one of them, but I also hope to be a realistic one. I think that's important to me because I think it's important for some people to come on and do the 100% stuff. And I like to do a lot of like normalized normal body stuff on my page, you know, for diabetes, for skin, because those are the fights I've fought, you know? But I can't do, like, I personally won't ever, well, who knows? Never say never. But if I don't relate to it, I'm obviously not going to make a video about it. But I think there are people doing that, and I think that's good because I think it's good to just see as much of it as we can. Whether that person feels overly strongly about that specific thing they're hyping up in that moment to be like, this is fine. Even if it might seem like something minor, it matters. So I really like all that stuff. I have a very, I don't think, is it the Libra thing? I need to have an astrologist on here. I need to talk to someone because I think that's just so interesting. But like, is it that? Because I'm like, I have to be balanced. I just have to. I have to speak both lines. It's just like how my brain works. Nothing. I love to live in the gray zone. Nothing's 100%. So I just think it's hard to be like 100% confident and say you're 100% confident. Like, I personally can't do that because I'm not. And I like sharing that I'm not because I think that's equally as important. And I like sharing when the dark side calls to me, like, change your body, Taylor, change your body. But I like also noting that that can sometimes just be a gift. You know, like, it is so complicated. It's giving Barbie movie. It is so hard being a woman. Like, it is giving Barbie movie, but maybe that's just the era we're in right now. Like, the beauty standard is fucking crazy. No one can deny that. No one can deny that. And the beauty standard, like, sits in our phone and rots our brain. You know? And yet there's so many things about the beauty standard that none of it, actually, I can't even link this because I hate the beauty standard so much. But there's so much about beauty, cancel standard, so much about beauty that I think is really fun. Right? Like, press on nails, living for them right now. Love them. Gua sha, loving. That's actually probably like a health thing, like for your lymph nodes. That's probably a bad example. Mascara, false eyelashes, dyeing my hair, spray tans, self-tanner. I love it all. I love beauty. I love beauty. Do I like the beauty standard? No. Can I somehow partake in beauty without it being a toxic narrative? I believe so. I believe the individual knows when it's toxic, you know? Like skincare. I can't really participate in that narrative in a fun way. I just can't, you know? Skincare's serious. Skincare is very serious for me and my acne and my skin. Whereas I think for some people it's self-care, it's fun. No, for me, it's work. It's a job. It's a goal. It's freaking serious. You know what I mean? And I think it can be like that for like a lot of people in like different areas of beauty. And so that's why I think it's like so beautiful and complex. But I think we know deep down the things we're doing for ourselves that are like positive and the things we're doing for ourselves that are negative. Like I always start to catch myself in like, do I need makeup today? A lot of the times wearing makeup just makes me feel better. Feeling put together and entering society in the way that I feel put together makes me feel better. In a sense, I have a better time. And I think that's the important key, and that's my roundabout way of saying you can't just have natural, because we still have to exist in the world of beauty, because that's the world. Like, call it capitalism, call it hell, call it whatever you want. It's still the world we're all waking up and walking and participating in, right? Like, there's no avoiding that. I just had an ick for myself. I was thinking of like Call Her Daddy and how she does solo episodes, and my brain was like, how does she do them and not be so icky? Maybe she doesn't. I don't listen to a lot of her solo episodes. But I feel like she's a good time, and I do these Barbie movie rants because it's like, again, it's my cross to bear with this world, the beauty standard, and exploring her and understanding her and studying her and participating in this world with her, which we all have to do, you know? I think like it's just a fact that if you feel good about yourself, you have a better day, and you probably do better at work, or you do better in your social life, or you do better whatever. You do better things for yourself. You care for yourself more. So, in my opinion, it's hard to deny that beauty matters, because it does. I just think it does, you know? But do I think you have to be careful with her? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. So I think it's good that we talk about it. I don't know. But I'm almost 30, which is really crazy. And I think that's just going to be an exciting chapter for me to just absolutely fully step into like a big sister role. Because it's like in your 20s, I think you're living your own existence. And then in your 30s, I think it's like this kind of womanhood thing to be like, I'm going to help out the 20s and the teens because I've been there. And now I'm here and I'm more confident and things are a little more stable. Hopefully my career gets a little more stable. LOL. That's on the board. Booking a big role before I'm 30. Do you think I could do it? I did book a big role before. Like, technically, the Squeaky Wheel was, like, so cool. And a big role, for sure. But that was 2023. So I wanted to kind of book one in 2024. You know, the year I turned 30. Like, it'd be cool to book, like, a big role. So we'll see. And if I could get my life to stable out of that a little bit. But, yeah, I'm really enjoying this process. And, like, things on the board could even end up being toxic. Like, I'm looking at some of them and I'm like, do I want to do that? Like red light therapy. Yes, I want to test that. Does it seem like a chore though? Yes. Like it just it freaking does. I never want to pull that stupid mask out and put it on. What does that say? You know, probably not going to work out for you, Taylor, you know? Because again, with beauty, it's got to call to you. It's got to inspire you. It's got to feel right to your brain. It's got to sit in the good place. If it sits in the chore place or the you're not worthy place or the I got to do this or I'm ugly place, it's in the toxic bad place. It's not in the right place. Beauty is so interesting. But I think the homework is important. So if you're not doing any of the homework, I suggest you do some of the homework. I think you should look at yourself in the mirror. And like we talked about this in the body neutrality thing. But, like, I think it's really cool looking in the mirror. Something I like to say to myself. Did I say this earlier? But, like, something I like to say to myself when I'm, like, about to shower. So I got no clothes on. And you could nitpick at your body. But sometimes I just like to look in the mirror and I like to say, good enough. And it brings a smile to my face. Or I'll go, what more do you want? Because it's a body that's working. Okay? It's a body that's functioning. Aside from its pancreas. But that's kind of neutrality. It's not forcing yourself to be anything positive. It's not allowing yourself to be anything negative. It's just sitting in the middle and going, do I need to be more? Probably not. But rats, I love you so much. I hope you're enjoying the new series. I'm going to have some more guests on the podcast, which is really exciting. And I appreciate you all the time. If you can comment on things, it's very helpful to me in my career. So thank you very much. And especially the skits. I've been posting like the odd sketch on Instagram, which is like really scary because Instagram is like a little Miss Perfect place. And being a rabid little animal is interesting. It's always a little scary to post those. The ones I posted today are like we're being a girly pop. Like that one's kind of embarrassing. I'm like nervous about it. But I love you guys so much and I hope you're having a great day and I really appreciate you. And rats, that's the end of the episode.